Hello everyone. I'm going to read you an adventure story. Minnow, Sky, Frank and Ben asked me to, so I thought, why not? Now I'd like you to imagine me at the very top of a tall tree that has wrapped itself around a magical tower on the islands of time. I'm sitting in a tree house high above the university, watching the students who are aged from little tiny 18-month-old babies to about 10,000 years old or even more. There are young children walking around, angels, wizards, teenagers, hybrid creatures, heaps of people who love magic, mathematicians, flamingos, writers, artists, musicians, ice witches, ordinary witches, talking dogs, time fairies, and many, many more. So, from way up here, if I look out, I can see the Indigo Sea, where enormous whales are launching up into the air and then diving back down to make the most spray you've ever seen. And it's purple because the sea here is a lovely, lovely indigo colour. And there are massive pods of dolphins having the best fun. If I look the other way, I can see the mountains of hope sparkling with pink and orange granite that provides the magical dust that is used here to cheer people up. There are also swarms of time fairies swooping all over the place, playing wild games in mid-air. And up above us is the Noesis, a magical realm of clouds that you can learn to surf through, and they're filled with knowledge about anything and everything, and they can help you solve problems or find out things you didn't even know that it was possible to know. The book is written by Sky and Minnow mostly, although Frank wrote a little bit and Ben a very small amount. My name is Diane Caney, and I helped the children edit the story. So I'll read you the blurb that they put on the back of the book. 2 orphans with a secret, a magical realm where evil controls time. Reality and fantasy swirl together as the children battle against the clock. Terrible car accidents took Sky and Ben's parents from them. Terrified and alone, they live at an orphanage ruled by a heartless principal. Their only escape is with some new friends who've invented a computer game filled with dungeons, magic, and monsters. But little do they know that the fantasy game is far more real than it seems. Can the 4 friends stop the time-bending menace from destroying innocent lives, or will their rescue mission end in a harrowing game over? It's a great story, so let's begin. Chapter -11.111, Lord Frank. It's the Frankster here, and I'm writing with the king of fountain pens in the Lord of all blue inks, in a massive scrapbook. Know this, I am the Don of storytelling. Okay, let's start. This book is about the time I went with Minnow halfway across the universe. Ben and Sky came with us because they're our best friends, and as you'll find out, the reason for our trip was mostly because of something that happened to Sky. But that's a secret for now, so I won't say any more. We had the adventure to end all adventures. I'm not mucking around. It was epic. Sky decided that we should write a book about it, all 4 of us. But before she and Minnow asked me to write a single thing, they wrote all the action chapters. So, because I don't do ordinary chapters, I had to write the first and therefore most important chapter. Our journey halfway across the universe gave us outstanding ideas for the computer game we've been making for the past 3 years. It's called the Time Again game, or TAG. Minnow and I have done all the programming, and our new game engine is a beast. It even lets us add our own art. We think tag is the boss of every computer game ever made. Sometimes we work on it in our secret treehouse when we should be at school, because seriously, programming is the best fun. Even though Minnow is younger than me, she dreamed up the game. She's my favourite cousin. Well, she's my only cousin, but still my favourite. Now that we're back from our travels, we're teaching Ben and Sky how to write code and how to program. We want to add into the game everything we saw while we were away and all the things we learned. Once we've made our computer game totally amazing, we're going to put it online and then you'll be able to play. Minnow and I live on Van Diemen's Island. The people who draw maps always put it at the bottom of the planet, but we don't care because we know it should be on top. It has the best surfing, huge forests, amazing mountains, and an excellent history of crime, corruption, and gangsters. Believe me, we've met quite a few gangsters. Actually, the whole island used to be one massive prison, so we've put lots of underground dungeons into the Time Again game, and we've also included the big cemetery near the old stone church where Minnow lives. The church is on a cliff overlooking the sea, and Min sleeps up in the tower. In our game, we've made some of the corpses fall out of their graves and down into Waterfall River. One of the graves has a ship on it. We call that one the Pirate's Grave. When you play tag, you have to sacrifice quite a few points to make the pirate's corpse fall out, but it's way worth it. Back to the reason we went halfway across the universe. Sky was in trouble. Heaps of it. After her dad died, she went into a deep sleep and couldn't wake up. Then she was sent with her brother to live at an orphanage next to our school. It's run by Isla and Filbert Thieve, and it was because of them that some really weird stuff started happening. More on that later. Anyway, Minnow, Ben and I went on a mission to rescue Sky. As you can imagine, it wasn't long before things got messy. And I mean really messy. Even though all of us nearly died, we had the best fun and we met some excellent people. My favourites were the wild ghosts who are allowed to have their bodies back so they can eat and drink again, but only on special occasions. They are dead set the happiest people ever. Plus, we had a lesson in a classroom that melted while we were in it. Perfect. Because you don't know us, you might wonder when all of this happened. I can't say too much, but it wasn't that far away from your time, maybe a few years back or a bit ahead. Time is weird. Sometimes things happen really fast, and other times a single day can seem to go on and on forever. After what just happened to us, I think magic places are always lurking, just sort of waiting for us to notice them. So be on the lookout for magic always. Now, because you can't play tag yet, read our book while you're waiting. You will not regret it. Signed, Lord Frank, aka the Frankster. P.S. Ben and I are going to play the Time Again game now. P.P.S. You can battle us after we've put tag online. P.P.P.S. Minnow and I drew a map of Lowood. It's on the next page. So I'll just describe South Van Diemen's Island for you. There's an old homestead in the top right-hand corner at the top of Tiger Snake Island, a little skinny island, which has a surf beach called the Break, and the island is called Tiger Snake Island. Then back on the mainland, there's a ferry with a fish and chip shop right next to it. And then down the road a bit, there's a lighthouse, and then the road goes around over a bridge which crosses the Waterfall River, and then there's a graveyard, and that leads up to Minnow's church. There's a tree house near Minnow's place, and then there's a bigger she oak forest which has a second tree house. Then round on the coast there's a school and orphanage called Lowood School and Orphanage with a clock's tower. And then up above that is Frank's museum where he lives in a big cottonwood tree. Then over to the left-hand side of the map, there are mountains and another bit of a forest, and then down below those is the Lowood city centre. So we're up to chapter minus 11.11, Ben and Sky. If we hadn't met Minnow and Frank, we'd be dead. They are the best. Signed, Ben and Sky. Then, if you want to listen to the rest, you will have to go to the next video, which is chapter minus 11.1, Sky Must Die.